Keep that core center pulled in, take some big arm circles, and we'll tie this in with the breath. Breathing in, lift, breathing out, lower. Think about what's happening with the pelvis. So keep the pelvis tucked under, so we're not arching the lower back, we're not moving as such. So kind of keep the center nice and strong. So we're getting a little bit of stretch around the shoulders, around the chest. Length at the back of the neck, crown of head shining up to the ceiling. Breathing in, lift, breathing out, low. Adding in, if you want, up onto the toes, start to grow tall. Breathing out to lower. 3 more. Just testing the balance a little bit, waking up the ankles and the feet. Bringing the heels down, take the arms up and just gently hold on to the wrist. It doesn't matter which side you've gone first. And then gently pull that wrist over into a side bend. Take a deep breath. And then lift, come back up to center. And then go to the other side. Just gently draw on the wrist. Take yourself over. Try and keep your head in between your arms. Take a deep breath here. And then release. Center again, other side. Bending the knees a little bit if you need a little bit of support there on the lower back. Gently drawing on the wrist. Big side body stretch. Take the deep breath as you go over. Drawing in the core to recenter. Just 2 more. Again, just holding the wrist. Gentle stretch. Centering, drawing in core is the last one. Gently pulling on the wrist. And then release. So crossing the legs, and we'll go for a slow roll down, but with legs crossed. So it's a bit IT bandy. So crossing the legs, interlink the fingers, so your palms are facing each other. Draw that up over the head, so it's a full body stretch. Looking forwards, and then bend the knees, breathing out, circle the arms down and around, deeply bending the knees, coming down, so you're looking towards your knees, your chin goes to your chest, and then gently uncurl. Do 2 more. Reaching up, interlink those fingers, grow tall. Crown of head shines to the ceiling, then take your release. Breathing out, knees are deeply bent. Find that lower back stretch, but also kind of working at the edges of where the hamstrings are, the glutes come in. Running around the outside of the leg. Now you can take legs a bit straighter on that last one for an extra breath if you want to. Then switch the feet over, take the crossover, interlink. Same again, 3 on the other side. Breathing in, lift, grow tall. Breathing out, release, bend the knees, chin to chest. And then uncurl. Breathing in to get tall. Breathing out, curling down. Maybe each time you're doing it, you're getting a little bit further in, further down into your stretch. On that last one, you could maybe think about straightening the back leg a little bit more on your stretch. Okay, squats, and if you've got your weights, you can put your weights in. Feet hip width apart. Check your feet are parallel, they're not kind of turning out kind of duck feet. Bending knees, hips back into space. Front raise, and you can alternate with lateral raise. Try and keep the length at the back of the neck looking forwards. Squeezing glutes as you lift. Think about the knees. Try not to let the knees pronate in. If you like, you could take one front, one side. Just to mix it up a little bit. Notice what happens to the shoulders as you do that. So try and keep the shoulders down and back so we're not tilting in the shoulders. Draw in, use the core. Three more. Then the deadlift, the single leg deadlift with a single arm shoulder press. So opposite hand is going to go down to the knee you've got forwards, another leg goes back. You might just go halfway, then take a high knee, and then it's a shoulder press on that same arm. So that hand goes down. You could take it all the way down towards the floor, coming up to center, shoulder press. 8 on one side and then 8 on the other. So it's a real good test on balance. So use the big toe as an anchor. Engage, use your pelvic floor. See if you can test yourself with the eye gaze going down to the mat. Then drawing a line as you come up to standing, draw a line with the eye gaze. So you're keeping that length at the back of the neck, the crown of the head stays long as you come into the upright. You can soften the knee on that standing leg. Doesn't need to be completely straight. Then switch sides. So again, just start with a couple of halfway down ones, just kind of testing the balance. And obviously, if the balance is too much, you can hold the other hand onto the wall or whatever you've got. Try and keep your shoulders relaxed. Work with the eye gaze. Try not to hold the breath. You can start thinking about going further down towards the floor with that hand and that leg going further back and up. Particularly on your high knee, just check your hips aren't tilting, so we're not letting that hip that's going up into the high knee hitch. So keep it down level with the other hip. I'm on my last one just to get in my 8. Then shoulders down and back, go to a scapular set. So a little bit of a combination here, and it's tricky because you've got to get into the right position, so we don't want the elbows forwards or back, so check they're tucked into the side. Your shoulders are down, scapular set for 1, then bicep curl for maybe 8, and you can work quite quickly, and then go to a scapular set again, so you've almost got to reset into that scapular set, then bicep curl, strengthening, reset, open, get the squeeze on the shoulders, bicep curl. Now find the pelvic floor, find the core, try and stay nice and still in the center. This is a bit like the pulsing on a 100. When you bicep curl quite quickly, stay strong in the center, pelvis tucked under, soften the knees, equal weight on the feet. And maybe you're getting a little bit further into your scapular set each time you're working with this. Stay strong in the wrists. Breathe out into the scapular set one more time. 8 bicep curls. 1 of those scapular sets. Okay, wide squat with the circle. Last one with the weight. And actually nearly last one. I've just got one more after this. Bend the knees, shoulders relaxed. If you need to do a little side to side sumo, go for that. Okay, drawing a really big circle, a big sun because it's been so hot recently. With the weights, for one way, for the other. Breathing in, lift. Keep the pelvis tucked under as much as you can. Draw in the core. So come and find that transverse abdominis and pull in. Try and keep the head still. Another thing you can work on when you're walking and running is keeping the head still whilst the other parts of the body are moving. Unless of course you're pulling back lifting a marathon, bobbing your head up and down. Okay, I think the next one's easier to do in kneeling, which is why I brought the camera down. So if you can find kneeling, if kneeling doesn't suit you, do it in standing. So it's a tricep exercise, and you can do them both together. So lifting up, point your elbows to the ceiling. Now why I think it's easier in kneeling is you can tuck the pelvis under. So you can send the hips forwards, and it's a little bit easier in kneeling compared to standing. Often in standing, what happens is we arch the lower back in to do this move. So you can do it in standing, but just be really conscious of what's happening with the lower back. So you've got the elbows pointing to the ceiling, and it's almost like you're going to chuck something, like an overhead chuck. Then you take, in fact, I'm just going to go down so you can see what I'm doing. You extend and then lower. But I don't recommend being in that position. This one's much better. So this is the backs of the arms. After about 8 of these, you'll start noticing that. Control as you lower. So you can work into accelerating and pushing away, but as you lower, try and keep it at the same pace, but controlled, so we're not kind of like just letting it drop. Engage the core, keep that pelvis tucked under. Eye gaze forwards, length at the back of the neck. Try not to dip the chin too much there. 2 more. Breathing out, lift. Breathing in, lower, last one. Lift and then release, and then we'll put the weights to the side. A little bit more balance, so just transfer the weight onto one foot. We'll do the standing, closing your eyes balance. Transfer the weight and then go to the other side, because I bet you've chosen your favourite side first. Then close your eyes. See if you can count to 8, so a little bit more than normal. Find your core centre, shoulders relaxed, perhaps using your big toe as a bit of an anchor, your glutes. Try and just iron out the breath. Then opening your eyes, take 8 heel lifts. Try and work directly from the floor all the way up towards the glutes. Maybe you feel that in the calf muscles, you've got that going over the ball of the foot. So using the big toe, the ball of the foot. Squeeze the glutes, draw in your pelvic floor. Then we'll switch sides. Start with the closed eyes balance. So just find a point of relaxation. Using your big toe, pelvic floor, squeezing the glutes. Relax the muscles in your face. Close your eyes, count to 8. Then when you're ready, open the eyes. Take your 8 heel lifts. Again, working directly from the floor straight up into the pelvis if you can. So it's these connections we're working on. Notice if you've dipped, I mean I'm doing it a little bit, dipped your shoulder down to that side. So just if you can square your shoulders out. You can use your fingertips for that as well. So reach your fingertips down towards the floor. So then, before we go down to the mat, let's take a quad stretch. So I'm going to use the wall just so I can focus more on my stretch than my balance. But if you want to focus on your balance, don't hold on to anything. Holding on to the front of your ankle. So try not to hold the foot because it tends to pull quite a lot on the shin area. So try and hold really the front of the ankle area. Try and think about what's happening with the knees, because often we can start in that position. So just if you can adjust and bring the knees to neutral, then you'll probably find the stretch on the quad, which is at the front of the leg. Then what's happening with the hips? So if your hips are like headlights, see if you can just tilt so your headlights are facing forwards, not down. then you'll probably find the stretch in there. Then what's happening with your shoulders? Are you tilting with your shoulders? Is one side of your body tilting to find the stretch? So just see if you can adjust, straighten all of these points out. Then are you looking down? I know I always look down on this. If you can look up, think about the opening a little bit more on the chest, tuck the pelvis under. And then finally, just take a deep breath. And then we'll switch sides. Again, if you want to use just the wall, and then you can focus on your alignment and things like that, or simply work with balance. So start with thinking about the balance element, so the big toe, the foot, then the knees in line. Then we're going up the body to the hips, the headlights. Are they facing down, or can we get them to face forwards? Then what's happening with the shoulders? Are they tilting? See if we can square these shoulders. Open a little bit here with the chest. Then let's go to the eye gaze, start looking ahead. And then let's just take a deep breath. Nice. So a bit of release in there. Okay, let's go down. We'll find a downward dog or puppy dog. So we'll meet down there. I'll just adjust my camera. So your version of downward dogs, I'm going to put in a few little options if you want them. Take my socks off. Spread the fingers, spiral biceps towards each other. You can deeply bend the knees to create that stretch on the backs of the shoulders. If you're struggling with that, don't pressure yourself by putting the heels down. Just let the heels be lifted. You could always go into plank, hinge the hips back up, see if that helps you get a little bit kind of straighter there in the spine. So a little bit of a variation today is to bring in development towards a wild thing stretch. Some of you will know this one. So you can hold in dog and just walk through, that's one option, or puppy dog, hold your stretch. Otherwise, we'll start with the right knee towards your nose, so drift it forwards to plank, and then extend, and then bending in the knee, stack the hips on top of each other, but try and keep the shoulders square. Then knee goes to right elbow, and then again, stack the hips, bending in the knee, then over to the left. So there's a little bit of hip mobility work. Stacking hips. Then on that last one, come to center, lift, and then you could just take it over, so the foot drops to the floor. Open out, just find some sort of chest stretch, and it's the wild thing. So there's no rules, you just open out. Then bring it all back round, we go to the other side. So find a dog just for a moment. Then same thing, left leg, knee to nose, extend, bending in the knee. Think about what's happening with the shoulders, so square the shoulders. Then over towards right elbow, opening, and to the left. Stacking the hips, then I need a bit more space. Then you can just take it over, let that foot drop. Push the hips up towards the ceiling. Allow some space there in the chest. Take a deep breath. And then twist it all back around into your dogs. Last moment, lift the hips up to the ceiling.